What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. And today we're going plane spotting at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport for you all. I really hope each and every one of you are excited for today's video. And without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. So welcome to plane spotting here at Cincinnati for the very first time on my channel. What a cool airport that Cincinnati is. Very excited to be spotting here. I believe the date is May 2023. I want to say that it was the 19th, I believe, but I can verify if anybody's curious. But anyways, really excited for today's plane spotting session, as today we're going to be spotting at a cargo mega hub. Yes, being on a Saturday, but we still got to see quite a bit of cool traffic because cargo still does move on Saturdays, believe it or not. And we have a bunch of really cool angles to take a look at here in today's video. So I really hope all of you are excited for this. And without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So on this day, Cincinnati was in north flow, meaning that they were landing on their 3.6s going towards the north. So that's the spots that we'll be working with here today, and you'll get to see various spots in this video. So I started out by checking out the new primary cargo ramp, which you'll see some pictures of here in a moment. But let's start right here with the pretty much the heartbeat of Cincinnati, and that's going to be primary Boeing 767-300 freighters. This was quite the exciting start, though. So yes, it's on the backlit side, but I'll show you why. It's because there's a road that goes back by the primary ramp that I was using to see those planes, but this still came in, so I want to get pictures of it anyway. So that's where we start with this aircraft coming in to land here on 3.6 center, I believe, 3.5 or 3.6 center. It's the center runway here. But as it descends in, you're going to see here, this view is so cool, first and foremost. So these shots are already cool enough. So I was really happy with this, but it was a very windy spring afternoon. And as you can see here, the 767 not only was flaring significantly, but as you can tell, it's probably a solid 20, possibly 30 degrees off center line, which is a massive problem when you're landing, of course. So here he comes in the land. As you can tell, he already missed 1,000 footers. So, and really, it wasn't, I don't think it was really the pilot's fault. I think it was just how windy it really was. But as you can see here, then he floats. So you can see here, it's almost like a video, which is quite cool. So he, I think he flared a little early, compensating for the wind, which is very understandable. So floats really high there, and then it gets even better. So then he's like, okay, we can still pull this out. So he touches down, but keep in mind the nose, we are still a solid 20 degrees off center line at this point, 20, 30 degrees. So compensating for the wind and pretty much being a crosswind. I believe it was coming from slight over here, the northwest, I believe, but I could be wrong. Anyways, pretty firm touchdown, of course. But it was crazy because, you know, I'm done shooting pictures at that point. I'm like, okay, he's going to land, but he's still really far off. No, this man goes around. So as you can see here, this is just a crazy angle right here. Pretty much a perfect tail-on shot right here of this primary 767 with this bird as well. Literally 30 degrees off. It looks like it just took off and banked, but no, it actually literally tried to land and was not able to get enough crosswind correction. You can see the distortion here from the runway to prove it. So what a start to Cincinnati plane spotting. Certainly wasn't expecting a primary 767 go around right then, right there, but that's what happened. So you can literally see the angle of the aircraft with how strong those winds were. Luckily, there wasn't many other issues when it came to aircraft landing on this day after this. But you can certainly see right here the importance of knowing the go-around techniques and what's so important about that procedure. So overall, really crazy to see here to start off the day. This was certainly an interesting start at the very least. So yeah, really crazy, and looking forward to what we have to come here in this plane spotting session. Also, these pictures haven't loaded in a while. I'll try to load the next session so we don't have to wait as long, but usually Peter gets on a good groove. So okay, so here's the road that I was talking about. So this is the vantage point that you saw the runway from previously. Now we're looking at the new primary ramp, which is really cool. So here's one of their 767s. Really nice to note all this new construction, how much Cincinnati's growing. Of course, used to be a huge passenger hub for Delta Airlines, and now it's turned into a massive cargo hub for primary and other carriers. So here are two blank 767s. I'm presuming those are probably Coletta or some DHL subsidiary or equivalent. And we also have the ABX, I believe that's the retro color 762, which is very sweet. So Cincinnati certainly has a bunch of really cool plane spotting. So a bunch of cool features here, including this primary 767 and this cool fuel tank that says stay safe, beware of jet blast, which is really cool. And you also see the DHL ramp over there, which looks quite nice. So more pictures coming on that. I do really like how Primera facilitated their warehouse to their colors. That's super cool. So even Primera belt loaders and cargo ramps, they certainly went to work on their operation here. So speaking of which, there it is. So this is the center part of the airport where we're from once again here on the south side. It's the southeast side where DHL has their ramp. So you can see various 762s, a couple 763s. I don't see a triple in that shot, but there's a possibility there was one lined up over there, somewhere over here. You also have another ABX 767 and a cargo jet. So overall, a bunch of really cool action going on here. Finally got to see a primary 737 at long last. Yes, let's go. So here it is right here. I love the blue color scheme. I think it looks really nice. So that's awesome to note. And again, it was a Saturday, so not as much cargo traffic on it compared to the weekdays. So here we have two non-winglet 767s and one with winglet. So overall, looking really good. Okay, so here we go. So this road loops around where I just showed you on like going north-south. Like it's kind of lined up with that taxiway right there. So the road comes behind the runway, and somehow you can get this view, which is really cool. I just thought this was one of the coolest spots out there, and I definitely need to edit more pictures from this vantage point at some point in the future. So there's a primary. Cincinnati's distribution of aircraft on the runways is super frustrating. Also, I'm so sorry that I'm throwing a massive load of information at you all at once because we haven't spotted here before. So feel free to skip back a little bit if you need to listen to any parts of this information twice because of how much we're talking about. Okay, let's start with the distribution of Cincinnati plane spotting. So, or rather, well, I guess, but the distribution of how Cincinnati breaks up their traffic. So the majority of aircraft will follow landing from what direction they're coming from. So they have 3 parallel north-south runways and then this crosswind runway. So when aircraft are landing, the majority of them will land according to their direction on the runways. However, the majority will use the center when they're coming from the west because of how far out that west runway is. And quite a few will use the east, as we'll see shortly. And then for takeoffs, you'll see it's really inconsistent, but this crosswind runway is used the majority of the time, along with some of the others, depending on where the traffic is and whatnot. So this primary 767 was probably going west, and it used the crosswind runway, taking off going west. So that's what you're seeing right here with this aircraft. Apologies about the haze, but luckily it gets better soon. I want to say the 18300 was on for that. Keep in mind this Canon T6i for the camera. Here's a DHL 777, and what I'm talking about is it's so challenging to predict where traffic's going to land. So this aircraft, I want to say, was coming in from Miami or equivalent, so it landed on 36 right. So as you can tell, no good shots, but it's all right. There's a beautiful 747 though, so that certainly looks quite nice right there. And then a Delta CRJ taking off, probably going to like MSP or somewhere. Here's a beautiful primary 767 with even a primary tug. That's quite nice. The Delta A220, so you can just see traffic's really spread out all throughout the airport. What can you do? Now, here's a beautiful Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900, and what's so cool about this spot is you can get these really cool belly shots, and this aircraft was coming in from Salt Lake City. I do remember that, so that was really nice. And again, another great example coming in from the west, and it still used the center runway. So, but you can just tell how cool these shots come out. So here's the Delta 739. You can just see the vantage point that you can get. I would absolutely die to come back here. Well, and obviously not die, but I would absolutely love to come back here at some point during a winter when the haze isn't as bad, and try to get shots from this location again if it's still available, which there's a good chance it's been blocked off at this point. And any local Cincinnati spotters, if you know, let me know. As you can tell, the vantage point was still super cool, and these are still beyond workable despite the haze from the longer days and the sun angle at this point in the year. So just want to really get a good view of that because it is super, super cool. I love this shot with a little bit of tree line right there right before it gets too much, and it looks just super cool. So yeah, with the landing lights and the slope, it's a super cool vantage point, and glad that Delta didn't have quite as many problems as the primary did. Excuse me. And then the FedEx and Atlas ramp is over here on the north side. Yes, they do fly to Cincinnati, believe it or not. Primary 767-300 freighter with the winglets. Had to get a top down of one of these, so that's what you see right here. Belly shot, rather, I suppose. But as you can see right here, the angle is just so cool. So here it is descending, and then you can see these shots are really great. I posted one of these back in the summer, and it was so cool to see this. So really great shots right here. That one's really good. So a little bit of editing work, of course, but certainly turned out really good. And glad that this primary, I think this was the go around, Canon did as well. So glad that he made it back. We've certainly covered a massive amount of ground so far. You can also see how far the wind drifted him off the center line. So really cool spot. Good job by the primary pilot for recovering. That was really good. Again, this Sun Country, I think that was a charter coming in from maybe like Sarasota or somewhere. So that shot's really cool. Want to highlight that real quick. Another crosswind takeoff. They use it so much for the United A320. That shot I need to put that out on Instagram. That is really good. So there's a beautiful primary. It's the one with the good exposure that I thought was really good. However, all of these are certainly workable and look really cool. I want to say that might be a former Delta aircraft. I'm not sure. Registration kind of looks like it, but could be wrong. There goes one off the southeast runway, 36 right. There's a ERJ-175. This looks to be an Envoy. That looks like Envoy right there. So that might have been an Austin flight perhaps, but overall really cool. And another really cool angle right here of this aircraft coming in the land. Zoomed in a little bit for that one. And touchdown. Welcome Envoy to the great airport of Cincinnati. Now here's the Air Canada flight. This is on a CRJ-200 during the summer, and this was a tooth-based aircraft. So overall looking good. We'll be up there pretty soon. That is the parking garage. We'll take a look at that shortly. But first, we got to get some more Primera 767 freighters. So this one, I think, went to the crosswind runway too. It's so funny. Well, maybe it taxis left here. We'll see. No, it did not. Okay. Frontier also has a large presence here at Cincinnati. So this is the... I'm not sure what kind of water animal that is, but some sort of manatee or equivalent. So cool. The tower also looks really cool at Cincinnati, so that's quite nice. There it is, and it has a cool Valor sticker on this Primera 767. So it's just really cool at this spot, and you can get good light on it too, so that's awesome. And the grass does cover it up a little bit, but if you really wanted to get out there in the field, you definitely could. Another crosswind runway takeoff of the Delta 737. Cool shot right here, even with the poles. Same song, second verse for that. ABX looking good, and landing lights looking fantastic as well, so very cool to explore that. A Cincinnati sign right there, and then as you can tell right here, there is the massive DHL ramp. And no, I wasn't driving. You can see by the dash location. So as you can tell right here, you can see all these DHL aircraft. That's quite fantastic. 777s. There's American taxiing for takeoff. It's a mega cargo hub. It's super cool. Okay, now up to the parking garage. Here's this Delta 757 that was on the ramp, which is quite cool. So Delta's still making their presence here at Cincinnati for sure. And as you can tell, it provides really good views of both landings and takeoffs in the afternoon of the far east runway. So here is Col de Fitcher, which is a Frontier E321. Frontier does have quite a operation here. They operate several flights. That went the crosswind runway, but we will get a Frontier later going our way. But luckily, we got good light on it, so I can't complain too much. That is one advantage about this spot. And here's that American we actually beat, the CRJ 900, probably going to Philadelphia or somewhere like that. So good to see 587. November, which is one of the newer PSA 900s in their fleet. So really great to get to see that. But the leverage is really good on this spot. Now for cargo takeoffs, we'll see shortly, it's not quite as effective due to how light those aircraft are compared to passenger aircraft, but you do get the bank, so that's quite sick. And here's a Series 7 that was a little bit lighter for PSA as well, so possibly a Washington flight or somewhere like that. And then planes still do land on the center runway, believe it or not. United ERJ-175, taxiing in right there. And here's a Delta 737-800. This aircraft is blasting off. That's a really nice shot. That will definitely be edited at some point. These are really good. I definitely underrated my Canon T6i's capabilities with the Sigma 150-600. Now, I still would argue that the camera lens will make your camera make or break it. However, for this particular situation, what I was going to say is back when I was posting with those suppressed shots due to the framing apps that I used, I think that's why I got a little frustrated with it, but I'm definitely open to trying edits again now that I actually know how to not have my pictures suppressed. Another carrier that's a major player at Cincinnati, not quite as much on Saturdays as compared to days like Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, is going to be Allegiant. And here's their Airbus E320 with Sharklets coming in, probably from Orlando, Sanford. And that shows you that Cincinnati really does go in waves. So you saw right there the Air Canada that we just saw. There it is again, taking off. Cargo really comes in waves and can make the difference of time perception here at this airport. So looking very good for this Air Canada Express. You can see the door fading marks. This is Charlie Foxtrot, Juliet Alpha. So really great to get to see that, even with the beacon as well. So really cool. And now we're on to the next round of pictures. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. So there's our beautiful CRJ-200 blasting off, followed by a United ERJ-175. I love the Evo Blue livery. It's one of my favorites, so glad to see that. There's what the cargo ramp looks like from the parking garage. You can certainly see how loaded that ramp can get, so that's awesome. So ready to get back to Cincinnati. So many cool planes. Here's a Delta A220, so a really cool catch right here to get to see. And an Alaska Boeing 737-900ER, probably coming in from Seattle, so we love to see that. docking up there at its gate. Delta CRJ-900, and here comes an American E-175 blasting off. This is a Republic example, so very cool. You can denote also by the placement of the titles a little bit quicker than what you would normally looking at the titles, so this is quite a cool catch. Anyway, blasting off probably for New York, Boston, somewhere in that region, so glad to see that. And then we have that Delta 737 up, put on small lens to get a better shot, so that's great. And there's the Sun Country. This was operating some sort of casino charter. I'm forgetting exactly where, but I think it went to Florida, I believe at least. So great shots here of it. It's a really good frame right there just to get to balance it out. Looks really great. I love the kind of fingerprint design right there. It's really, really cool. So definitely very glad to get to catch this, and it looks really, really nice. Love the Sun Country livery, so very hopeful to get to fly on them sometime and see what Sun Country is truly all about as a low-cost carrier. There's a blank 767 Gen 1 taking off of the crosswind runway. You can see the door right there, so pretty sweet to get to catch that as it blasts off into the west. And there is a really great catch right there, a blank Boeing 767-200 with the black tail. This is quite a cool aircraft. Now, as you can see, especially for this front corner shot, it's certainly much more sustainable for your cargo aircraft, and even still, here's the side shot. It's certainly not too high. This one definitely did rotate a little long, but you can see here it is a little bit higher than what some of the other aircraft are, for instance. I also got to take a moment to note how beautiful the silver trim around those engines are. That is absolutely fantastic. So really great catch right here. Very glad to catch this. Priority going a little whack on the ISO at this time of day, but luckily I've learned some more camera settings since I have been to Cincinnati, so definitely hope to go back and implement those. American 737-800 on the roll, and a 175 and a Delta 737-900. They love that crosswind runway. There goes the 175 already, and there it goes into the sky. Again, Saturday, so a little bit lighter on the passenger traffic. However, definitely want to go back during the week next time. So this looks really great right there. That's a fantastic shot. So overall, looking really great on this, and I love that Evo blue livery. So very fortunate to get to catch on this day. Allegiant does use these A gates. Let's talk about the gates a little bit real quick. So the first concourse here that still remains here at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport is the A concourse. I think this is mainly used by the low-cost carriers, so that's going to be Allegiant, Sun Country, Frontier, those airlines. And then concourse B, that houses all the legacy carriers for the most part, so Alaska, American, Delta, United. Speaking of Delta, there they are. So you can see you can barely get some views of it. Like here's B4, for example, and that is a longer concourse. I think it has more like 30 or 40 gates, maybe a little bit less. I'm not completely sure. And then the alpha gates have probably like 10 or 15. So for example, here's this Allegiant. I don't know if this one was just docked up for the day. It wouldn't surprise me. So they just let it hang out here when it's not doing flights, which was kind of surprising for this time of year, even on a Saturday. So I believe all of these were. And this Allegiant A320 also just docked up hanging out. No flights on this day from Cincinnati. So I don't know if it's sequencing. I don't know if it's crew related, but in the winter, this would have been more understandable, but just a little bit surprising for May not to have any traffic going on. So trying to get the picture level, and I did a better job on the first one, but that's all right. So anyway, though, looking good. There's a primer heading off and one landing in as well. That was probably like Denver or Phoenix. And there's another takeoff on the crosswind runway. So it is a treat when they do take off on 18 or 36 right in this flow. I think 18 left's a little bit more common because of how much closer it is. But nevertheless, anyway, here's a beautiful NetJets Global. Really cool to see that. Another Primaire without winglets, and a Southwest. Finally, this is the first Southwest of the video. I think it is. 737-700. They do have a presence here. It's just not near as large as other airlines, so it's kind of interesting. But they do fly here, so believe it or not. Here's this Alaska 737-900 now taxiing out for Seattle. So looking good, and once again, crosswind runway. The crosswind runway would be good in the winter if there's spots somewhere over here. I'm sure there is. I'm not sure. And then on this side over here, I'm not sure if you get landing shots easily or not. Now, there is an observation area at Cincinnati. It's right next. It's halfway in the middle of 18 left and 18 left and 36 right. I'll show you when we get a chance. Another Delta 737-900 ER with a beat up scimitar. And I'll just take a short pause real quick because I know I've been just boat loading information here. So just slowing down, talking a little bit. Okay, let's continue. Primaire taking off over there. So that west runway I don't think got used once when I was there, although it could have been because of construction or another reason. Okay, how about a Commute Air 145 with winglets? Fantastic to see this. Definitely want to fly on these sometime. So, yeah, interesting to see this here. This is certainly kind of surprising, but I would assume probably a Houston flight. But anyway, really cool to see this. Another Prime Air without winglets, 767-300. Another Allegiant, finally, this A320 is pulling in. And there's ABX Air, and this took off in the crosswind runway once again. So kind of interesting considering the ramp was right there. That they could have took 36 right, but they did not. So, and then the real talent show right here. So Delta does fly wide bodies to Cincinnati, one flight a day to Paris. And on this particular day, it was on a Boeing 767-400. So really excited to take a look at that. But there it is taxiing out. Was so relieved when it taxied over for this side, which takes off on this runway almost every day anyway. But man, with that crosswind runway, I was just like, please don't take off on the crosswind runway. I want the good shots. And luckily, we are going to get those. So looking forward to that. There's a NetJets and the ABX taxiing around the airport a little bit. And now let's get into the real talent show with the next round of pictures. Alrighty, everybody, let's go ahead and get into the talent show. Delta Airlines Boeing 767-400ER blasting off for Paris Charles de Gaulle CDG. So we're going from CVG to CDG. So how cool is that? Also, the observation area is somewhere in this area. Apologies that there's not a very good angle of it here. But anyways, was super happy with this. It was pretty sustainable on the weight for this flight. So it might be like right down here, by the way. Anyway, that's actually it right here. So you see, I'm going to zoom in to make sure that it doesn't get cut off of the video. We'll talk about the plane in a moment. Here it is right here. You can see a nice group. It's obviously backlit in the afternoon, so that's why I wasn't there. This is the official spot. It's good in the morning for traffic, and it does overlook the airport quite well. So that's where it is. It's down here, like right next to the center of the crosswind runway. Anyway, back to this. So the Delta 767-400. So glad that had sustainable weight, so it rolled long on this day. And let's go back to that background shot. This is super nice. Really, really good looking airplane. Looks really nice. So super cool that they fly it to Paris from here. You know, there isn't any other international flight, so it makes sense for them to at least keep a one after their major run here at Cincinnati. So very fortunate that they do have this flight, and it's really cool. So in the summer, of course, easy to see the departure, and really glad to get it on this day. Just want to back up and really take that in for a moment. That is a great looking aircraft. So overall, really happy to get to see it on this day. Kind of looks like a mini 222. It really honestly does. So this was really cool. Definitely, I think by far my best 767-400 shot for Delta. I think I probably got some more at Atlanta at this point, but just with the light and the sentimental value, it was really cool to get to see this. So overall, I was very pleased. And what a great looking aircraft. There's the reflection off the CVG, gosh darn it, CDG. It will be there plus a one. So really cool. Again, they used to have quite a few international flights, but times changed and Atlanta took over. So really great to get to still have this flight here, and really cool that there is still some international presence here at CVG, which is awesome. So again, I hope they build another observation area at some point possibly, because the other one, as you can tell, people had their hands over their eyes to see it, but you definitely can get a nice close-up view, so that's nice. And definitely hope to spot there in the morning, because it is really good for that cargo morning push in the various days that they have that. So overall, looking great. So very awesome to get to see that right there. And another 767 lucked out for DHL this time, 767-300 with a wardrobe malfunction. Now this is certainly what I'm talking about. You can still see this front corner profile looks pretty good, but once you get to the side shot, you can see how tall these aircraft get. And even this one's not bad by any means. It's still very good, but you can just see how sustainable these rotations are from this spot. So again, not a problem. Just want to note that for anybody curious on what this may look like, this is possibly what you'll be working with. So overall though, a great looking DHL 767. I think it was going to JFK. So ultimately, super glad to get a really great shot of this, and definitely going to post that sometime. DHL, kind of tough to find around my region, so definitely got to come over to Cincinnati to see them in full swing. And how about a Southwest? So back over on the south side now, and I'll show you why here in a moment. But here's the 737-700 blasting off. Again, just small presence. Yes, so I was not sure where this aircraft was going to land. It was this Coletta Charters 2 Boeing 727-200. I have like 100% feeling it came in from El Paso, but at the same time, I feel like maybe it wasn't. I thought it was coming in from El Paso. I really want to say that's where it was, but it's coming in from somewhere in the southwestern United States for sure. And I was like, well, every other plane today's used the center runway, so why would it not today? It went over on runway 36 right, which was super frustrating because you can see the light and how fantastic it was. but unfortunately, it's too far away once they turn final to because you have to make several turns and moves. So I had to see it from afar, but still really cool to get the capture. This is 726 Charlie Kilo. I'm really hopeful this isn't my final time getting a Kalita 727 in flight. I've seen it several times on ramps. I've not seen it in flight since this picture. So yeah, still really cool to get to see this no matter what happens. I'm certainly very glad to get to capture a really important piece of aviation history, not only for the 727, but also in the cargo sector, as these have been workhorses in this field for decades at this point. So what a great looking aircraft. Again, a little tough to strike out on it, but what was I expecting when it was coming from El Paso? I thought for sure it was going to land on the center runway like the rest of those primaries did, but Kalita a little bit different. What can you do? And again, ATC didn't really clarify that till the last moment. So tough times and tan lines, but again, hey, we got a Piper Warrior instead, so we'll take that. So a blank Piper Warrior on short final right here at Cherokee. This actually Archer, excuse me. Really great looking aircraft. Definitely want to do some recreational flying. I probably pronounced that wrong. Let me try again. Recreational. I think I got it pretty close there. Flying in these at some point, as I do have the endorsements. So they are great aircraft, but I'm too busy plane spotting. So what can I do about that? But anyways, really great to see that. And you can see, so this is what it looks like backed up on the side. So this is the side profile on the frontlit side in the afternoon. So you can see what that looks like now from here, which still provides great views. Another crosswind runway takeoff. Man, if you're trying to spot takeoffs at Cincinnati, it's a tough fet to fight. But luckily, a beautiful Primera 767-300 freighter without winglets on short final here. This is a great looking airplane. Take a look at that. Some of these were former American Airlines aircraft, I believe, as well. So really great to get to catch this one in some stellar lighting. So that was awesome as it descends down into Cincinnati here. That jello shot's fantastic. That one does need to be worked on, leveled, and posted. That is really good. And touchdown, Primera, beautiful. And welcome to Cincinnati right there. Beautiful angles. And then that one was taxiing in. And the Archer was actually just doing touch and goes, which on Saturday night at Cincinnati wouldn't have been what I expected, but it was calm. So it certainly worked out very well for that particular aircraft. So overall worked good. And I thought that shot was really cool for the size comparison of the Primera 767 compared to a Piper Archer. So you can certainly see how ginormous a Boeing 767 is compared to a general aviation prop. So that certainly shows you what we're working with right there. And how about the ATI? First one today, Boeing 767-200 right here. This was super cool. Was very happy to get to catch this with some good clarity on that shot right there. So overall looking good. This is probably the Sigma 18300's biggest weakness, was the focus on all sectors. I want to zoom into the rig to see how it did. It seems like, yeah, it seems just a little fuzzy there compared to the front, which even still is a little bit. The Canon 18-150 I have right now for the RF mount on that kit lens, which it's a much better kit lens than what you'd typically find on a mirror camera. It still has some of those weaknesses, but still pretty good for the most part. I've had good results. The biggest part of that is just keeping it stable and not getting it too far zoomed in. It certainly does a good job so far, so we'll see that in the future. However, here's a ATI. Now this shot's really good here with the focus on the registration. It definitely did a good job. So it was just time for the next era, and I saved a bunch of money by selling it, so it worked out well. So you can see here some cool shots of it touching down. Beautiful, great looking aircraft, and overall that was fantastic. Beautiful. Delta on the other side, a CVG sign. There's the DHL Cincinnati hub. And our final aircraft for today will be this Allegiant Airbus A320, which, as you can tell here, it wasn't able to get a good shot because we were driving. But that shot actually came out really good, and that is a perfect place to finish today's video. What a great looking Allegiant, and maybe we'll get to come back on a time when they have more flights. We'll get to see, but overall, Cincinnati's really cool. Here's your fun fact today. Cincinnati Airport is actually located in Kentucky. It kind of suggests the name, Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport. So really cool fun facts. I was able to add Kentucky to my state list because of this, and another plane spotting session that'll be coming in the future. So stay on the lookout for that one, which will be in Kentucky. But overall, really great time in Cincinnati. It's a really cool airport. Quite a wide array of operations considering that they are a dehubbed airport. All the cargo operations, definitely the biggest highlight, but even all this Allegiant, the Delta 764, you got all those other airlines too. Frontier has a large operation as well. So it certainly has quite a healthy amount of operations going. and I'm certainly glad that we got to catch all these aircraft here in today's video, and I'm excited to return hopefully on a little bit more active cargo day, but for a Saturday, and the great weather, of course, which is the reason I chose to come on this day. It definitely was not disappointing by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm certainly very appreciative and very happy with my time at Cincinnati, and we will have to come back here in the near future. And you can see the cloud right off the edge right here, so it worked out very well to get the actually, no, that's just a reflection of the fuselage, I think. Excuse me, I think it looked like, I think it's stunning on the backside still. But anyway, irrelevant to the discussion, this plane spotting session was fantastic, and now it is time for the next part of this trip. So, speaking of which, definitely stay on the lookout for all those videos that come from this trip. I believe we have another Indianapolis one before the flight, the crazy, pretty much day trip inside of this trip. Getting back to Tulsa, which will be quite a talent show to assess, so I really hope all of you are looking forward to that. But nevertheless, that'll do for today's Cincinnati plane spotting session, everybody. I really hope you all enjoyed this. Excited to come back sometime, and let me know what you think about Cincinnati International Airport in the comments section below. So with all that being said, everybody, that'll do for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. My name is Redriveraviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe, just process. Do you love you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.